Hey, and welcome to Matt and Jess TV. I am Matt Rose.
And I'm Jessica Bun Bun.
This is our reaction and review for It. Welcome to Derry, Season 1, Episode 4. As somebody who has had multiple eye surgeries when I was very, very young, I've always had a lot of trepidation around my eyes. Like, I have a fear of swimming in deep water because my eyes are very, very sensitive. So let me just say this episode absolutely horrified me.
Listen, I do not have the same background as you do with your eyes, and it horrified me. That whole scene with Marge was wild.
Yeah, if you guys watched our take of episode 3, we didn't necessarily feel the greatest about the scare factor in that episode, at least compared to the ones that were before it.
Yeah, but they're back. They're
Yes.
back. And we got to see the balloon, also just terrifying. And
Yeah.
all it is a balloon, but it's really building up here to the big Pennywise reveal. Where is he?
I think that we are finally inching closer. We're at the very
Yes.
least seeing more iconography of Pennywise.
Yep.
We've had the photo, which may or may not actually contain Pennywise anymore.
Yep.
This episode, I just think it moved a lot of things forward, but it also established a little bit of backstory. Like, it felt like Pennywise was around this area for a very, very long time, but now, thanks to what Halloran was able to discover,
Yeah.
Daniel, and that whole story, it's so much deeper than I think a lot of us even expected.
Absolutely.
We have so much to talk about here, all about this episode. Before we do, though, be sure to hit that subscribe button because we are here covering it. Welcome to Derry every single week. We're talking through the events, sharing theories, having a great time, hearing what you guys are saying in the comments as well.
Absolutely. And we also have Fallout coming up. We're
Yes.
also covering Pluribus right now here at the channel. So hit that subscribe button and follow us over on our Patreon as well if you want to talk about it. Welcome to Derry even further. We have lots of chat and polls and all kinds of stuff going on over there.
Thank you guys so much for your support over there. We very much appreciate
Yes.
it. Okay, so why don't we just start here with the Halloran of it all? Because so much of the last 15 minutes of this episode was really on this mind-bending experience where he's able to sort of go back and see this story that has been passed down for so many generations.
Yeah, he was able to use his shining to get into Daniel's head and really learn, about this story that has been going on, about this shapeshifter for all this time, and that there's these 13 pillars that are out there now. And where are those locations? Because once he finds those locations, he will be able to find the woods.
Yeah, and all of that is useful, but at the same time, it's very interesting that Halloran is this person who now has all of this power. He has knowledge of the quote unquote origins of Pennywise. He
Yes.
knows that what the tribes have done over the course of many, many years to try to keep themselves safe. But this is also the guy who has questioned time and time again, like, should we even be doing all of this in the first place?
Yeah, he's in a really tough spot because he is part of the military where it is, yes, sir, okay, sir, whatever you want, sir. And he, even had that conversation with Hanlon where he was like, yeah, like I have to do what I'm told. We are all in the same spot. This is
Yes.
our job.
Well, the other interesting, I guess, tinfoil hat part of all of this
Yes,
is that
tinfoil hat.
we know, thanks to your beloved The Shining, where
Yes.
Halloran ends up. So clearly, he's not going to get killed on It Welcome to Derry over this next little while.
He's not, but it is interesting for all of you Shining fans out there that the person that he does keep seeing over and over again is his grandmother, who is somebody that he mentioned in The Shining, that it was him and his grandmother that they shared this.
So I do think this is this situation where either he's going to try to defy some orders, get out of town as soon as possible, or he's going to tell them about these pillars and about what they can find in this effort to, okay, we're going to get to the woods, we're going to locate Pennywise, but then it's all going to go really, really badly. And then you're just saddling him with all of this guilt for the rest of his life.
Okay, my tinfoil hat is I'm wondering if because he is seeing his grandmother is someone that he's mentioned in The Shining, that they both have this ability, that his visions of his grandmother are going to be the thing that will be able to help him get out of this, because with The Shining, you can see things that have happened in the past,
Yeah.
but you can see events that haven't happened yet, or at least part of events that haven't happened yet. So there might be something with that connection with his grandmother, that he might see something that's going to be coming before it happens, and he just leaves.
One, if you do that, I will not blame you, Halloran, whatsoever. Get out of
No,
town.
yeah, get out of town.
The other thing here is just that when you have an ability like this, and even when other people recognize it, they may still have selective care when it comes to whether or not they want to
That's
hear
right.
it. Because if you're Shaw at this point, like, he's clearly feeling like everything with Pennywise is in some way personal because of everything in his
Yes.
past. And he sees his own vision here for how this might be useful. I don't think it's any coincidence that we see all of these just in case training videos in this episode and everything else to sort of lay out the climate that's existing in the early 1960s. So he's really sitting back and thinking about, this is my opportunity to right some wrongs of my past. This is my opportunity to be this hero. I'm going to figure all this out. So even if Halloran goes to him and just says, by the way, I saw into the future and you're all gonna die, is he just going to be like, oh, that's hogwash, it's gonna be okay, I can cheat fate?
Well, I think for Shaw, man, getting that backstory on Shaw was so good. And I think
Yeah.
it's so important, because it's not just about him knowing, oh, there's this weapons, Pennywise, I'm going to be able to do this and that and whatever with this.
Yeah.
But I think he does have his own sort of personal questions about it. Like, why was he targeted in any of this in the first place? When he first ran into him, why did any of this happen? I think he has his own questions, and I think this whole thing is dual purpose for him.
But you know what they say about curiosity in the cat here. It just
I
feels
know.
like we're going down a
Oh,
very...
Shaw's not making it out of this.
No, he's number one on
He's
the list.
lunch.
Yeah, he's the character that's going to have the most satisfying death. Like, that's the thing I am 100% confident in. The person I'm obviously very, very worried about right now is Leroy, just because of the spot he finds himself in. He's the quote-unquote man without fear. But I also,
Yeah.
I love watching the dynamic between him and Halloran sort of build, where there is this innate level of distrust there, because I think that when you don't really fear everything or anything, you're kind of looking at situations through a slightly different lens. So there's this question of usefulness, there's this question of belief, and I think there have potential to be, I don't want to say BFFs, but they have potential to kind of understand the problems with the system around them. It's just kind of, will they?
I think it's hard, because their first meeting is Halloran's one of the three that's like attacking him in his sleep,
Yes.
right? So there's already no trust there with that. And then on Halloran's side, it's kind of like, yeah, I needed to see if you are a man without fear, and you are a man without fear. So now I don't trust you. I have, problems with you. But at the same time, they both seem to have problems with what they're doing, like working towards finding this, weapon of fear together, that they're both like, okay, yeah, okay, we have to do this, but neither of us want to do this. But, we're going to have to find a way to work together, even though we don't really like each other and we don't really trust each other.
What is, to say what the kids are saying, so fire about it? Welcome to Derry right now and where we are.
It's cinema.
It is cinema, because everything is connected. There's all these tentacles that are just branching out, because we
Yep.
have this dynamic, obviously, with Halloran and Leroy, where Leroy understands pretty fully at this point, at least what the military is trying to do.
Yeah.
But then he's also got this connective tissue, obviously, to the kids with what's happening with Will. And he has now experienced with Will some of the actual terrors of Pennywise in his own way.
Yeah. Oh man, that whole. I knew something was going to grab Will out of that water. I
know.
knew it. I felt it. I think we all kind of knew it was coming.
Yes.
But they still got me with it. This show is just so good on the timing of things, even when you know it's coming, that anticipation. But what I didn't expect was that Will's fear was going to be his own father, like in this situation where he almost died, and that he may almost die too, or he may die along with him in the same way. It was a very interesting fear, especially since a lot of the kids this season all have fears that are revolving around their parents. I mean, Ronnie's having this as well with the guilt she's feeling that she thinks that she killed her mom.
There's just a lot of fascinating insecurity, I think, on Will's part, where we've sort of have seen he's a very, very smart kid. He's a very science oriented kid, but he's also in an era where all men have to be super machismo. He's got his father who's in this very strong, manly position
Mhm.
at the base. I think he's constantly worried about, okay, do I live up to his expectations? If something happens to me, what's his reaction going to be? Is he going to condemn me for it? And so all these fears are manifesting in these very classic Stephen King sort of ways, but
Yeah.
now there's these dual consequences of it as well. Now, Leroy's also got this connective tissue going on with the balloon because Will had the photo of Pennywise. And so there's that
Right.
knowledge of Pennywise that's starting to seep in all of here. And then Leroy, while he may not want to acknowledge all this, he understands and knows more of what's going on with his son. Like, he is one of the few adult parental figures on this show who could look at their kid and be like, okay, you know what? You're not crazy. You're not making up this for attention.
Yeah, and I think the fact that the two of them together saw that balloon after what happened to him, and him looking down, seeing his son having these cuts and bleeding, and that this was a very real thing that was happening to him, till later when Will is like, I'm seeing this person outside the house. His father's right out there, there's nobody there, but that balloon is still there, and there's just something that's so like next level with it. That is, it doesn't make any sense that if you're someone who lives in the logic, this is
Yeah.
not it. And seeing the balloon out in the lake, and now you're seeing it in a tree in front of your house,
Yeah.
something isn't adding up. And on top of it, he has seen Halloran in the plane going through whatever he was
Yeah.
going through. There's too many spiritual things, we'll call them, that are going on for Hanlon at this point to look away from and be like, oh, it's all nonsense.
I think the question is, while we know Hanlon doesn't experience fear, do you still experience concern? Like, there's a difference between I
Yes.
am afraid and I'm really worried about my son. I'm worried about staying in this situation. What do you end up doing here?
And he absolutely is. I mean, he ran over to that lake like his butt was on fire when he heard his son.
So I think he is incentivized to try to figure out something to do, even if that something is, hey, I just got to get out of town. But at the same time, we're not going to lose the Hanlon family.
And they're kind of trapped. I mean, there's nothing that Hanley can really do. It's not like he can move his family. They're in the military, and that's where they're stationed.
Yeah, it seems just like in general, this is a family that is all about we want to do our part to try to make things better. Like, they're
Yes.
all heroic in that way, but they're all kind of facing insurmountable things here. Like, Will's trying to get people to believe him. We'll get more into that. We
Yep.
have everything that's going on with Leroy at the base. In this episode, we have a lot of Charlotte, who's trying to do everything in her power to exonerate Hank, even though it's very, very difficult to even get a meeting with him.
Yeah, I mean, she went to his mother to get a letter, to be able to get in there, to be
Mhm.
able to talk to him, to be like, why aren't you just being honest about where you were and what you were doing that night? Because you clearly weren't home.
Yeah.
So who are you protecting?
And this is where, once again, this show is doing this brilliant job of sort of weaving in history, reality, and then this
Yeah.
fantastic element of horribleness happening because of Pennywise, because there's a very real reason why Hank doesn't want to share his whereabouts because of this relationship, because of his knowledge of interracial relationships at this time. Like, he is,
And he's with someone who was married.
yeah, like he feels like he's really, really stuck. And while it seems like Charlotte's got some experience in dealing with situations like this, we've seen enough now in Derry through these first few episodes where these people don't want to venture outside of their pre-existing beliefs. I mean, to the point where what little was there of the photos, they don't want to make anything of that either.
Okay, let's talk about these photos.
All right.
Because for me, in this last episode, when they were like developing them and it was coming through all these pictures of all these spirits, I was like, I can't believe it. I can't believe what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
They actually captured this. Oh my God, it might actually work. And while I knew in my heart of hearts it wasn't going to work, I was
Yeah.
like, how are the cops going to explain this away? And, like magic, when they bring them to the cops, nobody's in them anymore. anymore. And they've all just disappeared, except for this like kind of blurry picture of maybe a clown that they're like, this looks like a statue.
Yeah, this is the thing. I thought that they were all going to still have stuff on the photos, but that they wouldn't be believed anyway, and they would just try to come up
Yeah.
with some sort of excuse. I don't know why I didn't just directly go to this, because it makes the most sense, because the kids are the ones who are afraid, right? And
Right.
Pennywise basically devours fear. Like, these adults, they don't have any fear. They don't see any reason to be afraid right now. So of course they're not going to see anything in this picture.
Yeah.
Okay, we talked enough. We got to get to the nightmare now with Marge and what's going on with her and Lily.
Holy smokes, man. Okay, so they're setting up some like Mean Girl Heather stuff here where, the Mean Girls have gotten Marge to try to set up Lily with, the popular boy at school saying hello to get her all ready that she's going to go over and talk to him and he's going to laugh at her in front of everybody. Some just mean girl stuff. Lily goes to the bathroom. She's like, okay, I can't believe he likes me. Marge finally is about to do the right thing and say, he doesn't actually like you. This is all a setup. I'm really sorry. She's going to do the right thing, but it is too late at this point. And the thing that she has been the most fearful of is her eyesight and her eyes and looking a certain way, having glasses. I mean, I have glasses, you have glasses, lots of us have glasses, but when we are that age, wearing glasses, it can be really tough and it can make you feel like you are kind of on an island on your own, even in this day of age where tons of kids have glasses. But for her, back in the 60s, there's not a lot of kids that are having glasses. No. So she really is in this weird spot that's pretty relatable where you feel like an outcast. You really want to be part of the popular group, but you just don't really fit into it. But if there's that little bit of an opening, you think you're going to take it until it goes too far. But because she is so about her eyes, this is the fear that comes out. Oh my God. Like I don't have super fear about eyes, but I always hate watching it in horror where people are like cutting eyes or putting their finger in their eye or whatever. But like this whole like table saw thing, her running into shop class to put her face under this table saw, it was like some stuff. I thought the Ronnie's mom thing was bad, but this was awful.
It was really bad. I mean, I have an interesting fear with my eyes at this point because I've worn contacts before, so I'll have like poked and prodded my eyes, and I know not everybody is even comfortable doing that.
Yeah, I've tried to have contacts. I was not okay with it.
No, it just ended up being too big of a pain in the butt for me, but I just felt like still very, very afraid about what's going on here. I mean, number one, it's just the way in which it was presented, but then it's also just the social context of all of it. I mean, this was so well put together because it's really relatable, I think, to all of us who have sort of lived in this you're the nerdy kid background where I've been in the Lily position before, where I've seen people come to me trying to act like they want to be my friend when really they're trying to just put me down so that they can get in good with these other people who are the cool and popular kids. That's how the social hierarchy works when you're in.
Those people suck.
They do suck. And it happens a lot when you're in, high school, especially when you're in like ninth grade. And then you've got like these 3 grades of people who are all so much older than you. So it really, really sucks when all you really want is to be cared for and understood. And I think a reason why Lily's really able to go down this hole is after everything that has happened with her, like the idea of a guy even being remotely interested in her, I just think it's so unfathomable to her that she's just like so desperate for anything, like just something to cling to that she can feel a little bit normal.
So now we're in this really weird position where we've got Marge lying on the ground, bleeding from her eyes, bleeding everywhere. And you've got Lily on top of her who had been trying to take, like, looks like a file out of her hand to stop her from hurting herself. But it looks like, of course, she's hurting Marge as everybody comes running in. So tinfoil hat. Unless Marge is able to actually be truthful about what happened and have somebody actually believe her, Lily's in huge trouble because she was also at the theater when everybody died. And now she's here and there's eyewitnesses of her on top of Marge. She's now going to be a huge suspect, even though the police chief clearly wants Hank.
I think this is going to be a very bizarre, reflective storyline for Lily in a way, because sort of like what's gone on with Lily and Hank and Ronnie and that whole situation, I do think we're going to get to a spot where Marge may eventually want to come clean, but I think at that point it's going to be a little bit too little too late. Like, I
Yeah.
think she's not going to want to say what really happened because, yeah, she's going to be afraid of what that's going to mean for her socially. She's already going to be in bad enough shape now. What is it to just send Lily off somewhere? You were already willing to publicly humiliate her anyway.
Well, here's the thing is I don't think the patty cakes are going to want to have Marge back
Yeah.
anyway. So, but now that also Marge was going to do the right thing and this whole thing happened with her fears and her eyes and now she's disfigured, I do think she's going to become part of the group, that she's going to be the next person that has seen things that no one's going to believe, but this group of kids, they're going to believe her and they're actually going to be able to come together in a way that Marge is going to have real friends and make real friendship.
I hope so. I just kind of like that group. They're such an underdog group. We haven't even
They are.
talked about Rich. I'm a big Rich seems like he is a
He's so cute.
25-year-old trapped in like a child's body. He's just like
Yes.
wandering around being like, "Good morning, sir. I am here to present this." And it's just like, you're so well spoken for a child.
I know. He reminds me of young Michael Scott.
Really, I can really see that.
Yeah.
But no, I'm really enjoying these first 4 episodes. I think they've set the table now for a lot of big stuff moving forward. I mean, we'll see
Mhm.
exactly what Halloran wants to do with this information now,
Yeah.
but that is where we are with it. Welcome to Derry, season 1, episode 4. What do you guys think about what we have seen? Where do you think Halloran is going to go? Share in the comments, and also be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any more updates on Welcome to Derry, and help us
Mhm.
get closer to 100,000 here. Thank you so much. We will see you here next time.